Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zaki and Brian are talking about the movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to a movie film commentary track. My name is Zaki Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zaki?
Hey, this is a fun one for me. This is I was going to say this is an ask, but you know what, Brian? I don't think this is an ask. This is a you're welcome.
I would agree because I did not really grow up immersed in Star Trek. My dad liked Star Trek, and so I remember him taking me to see 4, and I was like, "That's great." But like,
so
it
as
wasn't
an act of rebellion. You've chosen not to like Star Trek because this all gets to whatever your issues are with your dad, right?
right. No, or you know, it's funny now that I think about it. Him watching Next Generation was like, "Oh, Dad's watching that. I'll go do this," kind of a thing. But it wasn't like an active dislike. It really wasn't. It was just sort of like, oh, it just never was my thing, you know. And so you introduced me to these movies. I mean, maybe. Like I said, I'd seen 4, but I think 10 years ago or a little more, you were like, all right, we're doing this. Sit down, son. We're watching Khan.
I think you had watched the first J.J. Abrams movie.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Which was a pretty good on-ramp into this universe for a lot of people.
I think so, because then you're familiar with the ins and outs, and then you're prepared to watch a version that may be like a little slower tempo or whatnot, but you're familiar with it. That's and you're kind of ready to rock. And I really like this movie. And I told you just now off air, this was a great excuse to go back because it's not in my regular repeating rotation. But when you were like, hey, let's do Wrath of Khan, I was like, oh yeah, I want to see that again. So, and I totally enjoyed it.
Well, there, as you just heard Brian say, we are in fact watching Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. We may have inadvertently buried the lead, but it is a movie that celebrated its 40th anniversary earlier this year. And it's back in theaters this week as we are recording this.
I know. I so badly wanted to rewatch it that way, and I just wasn't able to pull it off. Did you?
I didn't this time. However, it was released in theaters exactly 5 years ago, and it came up in my Facebook memories that I was in the theater exactly 5 years ago today watching Wrath of Khan on the big screen.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So at least I've had that experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is the movie that made me a Star Trek, I would say, super fan. I didn't mind Star Trek before, but it was seeing this one that really supercharged that. But we can talk about that as we get into it. We are going to be watching the director's edition of Wrath of Khan, which is not substantially longer. It's about I think 4 minutes longer than the theatrical cut. But there's a few bits and bobs in there that I think add a little bit of texture. Plus, I actually previously did a commentary track for Wrath of Khan with Glenn Greenberg on the Nostalgia Theater podcast. And I thought, there's 2 cuts of the movie. We can do 2 tracks for it.
I actually don't know if I've heard that, but I heard you guys do Spider-Man on our show, but I'm going to definitely dig that up.
Glenn Greenberg and I talked through all 6 of the original cast movies over on the Nostalgia Theater show. I have not heard those tracks, but I'm assuming they turned out fine. But I don't need an excuse to talk through Wrath of Khan. As Jerry said on Seinfeld, it is the best one of those movies.
And that's what I consistently hear. I mean, this is the one that everybody seems to really, really love. So, yeah, I can't wait to hear a fan, like a tried and true fan, talk me through it here. So.
Well, let's get into it. Let's take a short break, and then we will come back and we will watch the director's edition of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan from 1982. And we are back, and we are ready to go. I'm queued up. Brian, you queued up?
I'm queued up.
Okay, so we will be talking through, like I said, the director's cut. If you want to watch along with us, you can. We'll hit play in a second. And if not, hopefully we'll keep the conversation engaging enough that you can listen to what we have to say regardless of what you're watching. So we will play on 3. We'll go 1, 2, 3, play. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, play.
All right.
So
Always
as
love
we
the
come in,
Paramount logo.
we are hearing James Horner's music coming in, and the fanfare. It's the Alexander Courage fanfare from the original TV series,
Mm-hmm.
which was not used in the previous films. So James Horner kind of bringing this in. I've heard tell that opening weekend crowds were applauding because they were excited to hear that music again, which is very dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
That's sort of so keenly associated with the franchise now.
Right. Well, I
Every
can only
iteration.
imagine fans
Yeah.
being like, "Where was it the first time?"
Yeah, the Jerry Goldsmith did the score for the first movie, and the theme music he came up with for that one is just as iconic because that became the theme music for Star Trek: The Next Generation, which I'm sure you've heard that music as well.
Yeah.
So you have two very distinctive musical approaches: Goldsmith with the first one, James Horner with the second and third one, both of whom did amazing work.
Oh my goodness, this score is so good.
It really is. Before this, Horner had done mostly low budget, like Roger Corman stuff.
Oh, wow.
And so this put him on the map in a big bad way. And for the rest of his life, he was doing A-list fare, I would say, off the back of what he accomplished with Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, totally. And it's funny. I mean, you can definitely. What was I watching the other day? Oh, The Abyss. Oh, I found that's a whole story. I'll get into another episode. I finally found it and watched it. But I was listening to it and I was like, this doesn't sound like the usual Cameron sort of, because I know he uses Horner and whoever. And I was like,
Silvestri?
I was like, that's Silvestri. I would bet everything that this is Silvestri. Because you notice the vocabulary, right? The musical vocabulary. Yeah. And likewise, when I was listening to this, I didn't know it was James Horner. And there's just certain things I was like, ooh, that's James Horner.
There he is. And
little things I recognized from Aliens and Rocketeer, and I was just like, oh yeah. So I love James Horner. R.I.P.
Now, before Horner's credit, we saw a credit for Gene Roddenberry as executive consultant.
Yeah,
and that's the take the paycheck and shut the hell up credit.
Wait,
because
so yeah,
Harv Bennett, who's
Yes.
credited here, he was the main creative force on this film. He essentially took the reins from Gene Roddenberry, who was blamed by Paramount for excessive expenditures on the first film, which I think it's fair to say that he shouldered some of the blame, but not all of it. They were looking for a scapegoat. But the first movie was a huge hit.
Okay.
It just cost too much.
I see. Right. Okay.
So I do find it interesting that in Hollywood thinking, I don't think you would see that necessarily today, where they're like, well, it made a lot, but let's do another one spending less.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Instead,
opposite.
It would be like, well, it cost too much, and yes, it made a lot, but it didn't make enough to justify its cost, so we're done now.
And not that that's what you would want to happen to you if you were the filmmaker, but isn't it amazing then that they took that and ran with it and made something so solid?
Yeah.
Like took what they had and just got back to basics and made just a sturdy, entertaining yarn.
Yeah, it's something. Well, first of all, before the films, between the credits and the film starting, it says in the 23rd century. And Nicholas Meyer, who wrote and directed the film, he talked about how he put that in there, partly just as a way to situate the story for himself, this to remind us, yes, this is in the future. But also, it's the first on-screen reference to when Star Trek takes place
ever.
That's right. There was sort of an assumption, like, oh, it takes place in the 23rd century. The first film was referred to as a 23rd century Odyssey, but this is the first time that we're given an actual on-screen time period. Although we didn't get an official date for any Star Trek until the end of the first season of The Next Generation.
Interesting.
And that date sort of allowed them to extrapolate everything else, but. The original series, they were making it up as they went. So, I mean, date references are kind of all over the place, but
didn't realize it was going to be scrutinized for decades to come.
They didn't think, I mean, things, there's sort of this assumption that for any of these things that canon is revealed from on high, and I don't think people tend to realize how often it's just making it up as they go.
Right.
Whether it's Star Wars or certainly Star Trek,
Right.
Which makes the very notion of calling it canon.
Right. Right. Like we all think that way now because we have applied those things to the stuff we love.
That's right.
Yeah.
So these effects shot of these Klingon ships, these are all from the first film.
Ingenious. Oh, wait, by the way, I do want to call out also real quick regarding budget and, tightening everything up. The opening credits with the moving starfield. Mm-hmm. I read that was accomplished by putting a camera in the center of the floor at a local planetarium and filming. And I was like, dude, I mean, a film student could do that. Like that's, but it looks great and it's genius. And I love everything could be solved now with computers, but I just love it's just clever,
and the limitations can be your best friend sometimes,
Yep.
Look at this great intro here for Captain Kirk. Look at that.
Yes, it's so good. Very Spielberg-y.
It really is. We also see Spock get picked off right away, and that was kind of a way of acknowledging that word had gotten out that Spock dies in this movie. And fans were very upset about it. So it's like, oh, well, no, he's not really dead. Oh, haha, right?
Right.
You sort of disarm the audience with that.
Right. I was going to ask you about that. I thought that was very clever. Because then you're like, oh, the thing I heard, it was, oh, right, we misunderstood. And then it throws you off for the rest of the film.
That's right.
Yeah.
One of the great strengths of this movie is really wonderful dialogue. It feels lived in and it feels very literate. Nicholas Meyer came at this primarily as a novelist. He had written The 7% Solution, which is a Sherlock Holmes novel, and before this he directed a movie called Time After Time.
Yeah, right. Which I've not seen, but that's one of those things that I'm like, oh, I should add that to the list.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
And so he came at this not as a Star Trek fan.
Interesting.
So he was not particularly precious about it. He didn't come in as like, I'm going to tear it down. He was just like, what's my in, right? And Harve Bennett, who produced this, had very much the same approach, where he was tasked with getting this ship space-worthy, so to speak. Right here, by the way, aren't you dead?
Right. He might as well wink to the audience.
It really is, and this film really relies on us buying the Kirk-Spock relationship, right? And I think this scene, just them kind of just talking, right? I've watched this movie so many times. When you think about it, the amount of time Kirk and Spock spend together in the film is not substantial. We get like 3 scenes, including the death scene.
Right.
But this scene right here, do you question for 1 second that they are good friends?
So like I said earlier, where I'm not, a huge Star Trek fan, I'm not against it. I just never had my in, right? When you showed me this film, the thing I remembered most was this funny friendship triangle between, McCoy, Spock, and Kirk. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. And it's so fun. And it's so, like you say, sort of like lived in. And I really buy these relationships. Like that's what my in was to this and why I wanted to keep going. And when I watched the J.J. Abrams ones, I was watching him kind of do his version of this fun sort of friendship in these adventures. So I think that's a real testament to the writing. As you said earlier too, Federica was asking me, she didn't watch it with me, but I was like 25 minutes in and she's like, how are you enjoying it? And I said, this movie's so pleasing to listen to. The dialogue is just so, like you say, like literate, but it's not, arrogant either. Like it just flows and it's pleasing to listen to. And it really, all the characters feel distinct and hearing them bounce off of one another is just pleasing.
That's right. Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it helps. I mean, like, if you've seen the television show, then there's context there. But I truly think this film could be your on-ramp into this universe. And
I think so.
You'd get it.
Yeah.
because I mean, granted, when I saw this film, I had already seen the first one. I had seen the fourth one because I saw this probably 1988, I think, first time. So to that point, like I already knew about Star Trek. I knew about the Next Generation. I was like, it's fine, And then I saw this, and this was where it flipped the switch for me. I was like, man, I just love this so much,
That's interesting. You say that about Myers not being a fan, and coming into this and finding his way. I mean, that reminds me of Abrams in a way.
Yeah.
Right?
Which I believe that Nicholas Meyer, I think he's talked about this. He was at J.J. Abrams' like bar mitzvah. Like they know each other.
Oh, funny. I was picturing Abrams' son or something, but you mean at his literal bar mitzvah. Wow.
Yeah. But I was talking earlier, Harv Bennett, he was a TV producer known for, he had done like Bionic Woman for Universal. So he's new at Paramount, and Paramount wants to continue doing some with Star Trek because they know that there is a very loyal fan base, but they have no idea genuinely they're like, maybe we'll do it as like a TV movie. Like they didn't know what they knew they were doing a second movie. They didn't know how. And Gene Roddenberry came and he's like, hey, I got this idea about like going back in time, and Captain Kirk meets John F. Kennedy, and they had some quite ambitious thing. And Paramount was like, no, I don't think we're doing that.
Right.
So they bring in Harv Bennett, and they're basically like, what'd you think of the first movie? And he's like, it wasn't really my speed, right? He wasn't a big fan. And the first film, which I appreciated, I don't think it's a good intro to this universe. I tell people, I'm like, go back and watch it, and you can appreciate it,
Sure.
Because it has scope. It has a scope unlike any other films they spent money on. It's directed by Robert Wise, who very good director, He did Sound of Music and Day the Earth Stood Still. He's no random guy.
Right.
But again, it was just very expensive. And so the head of Paramount, his name was Charles Bluedorn at the time. He asked Harv Bennett, he's like, could you spend less than $45 million to make a Star Trek movie? He's like, I could make you 5 movies for $45 million.
Right.
And that's basically how he got the gig.
Interesting.
And when you look at this movie, I mean, there's not a ton of locations.
Right. I thought I read 65% of it takes place in one spot.
Probably and really, to that point, I mean, what we're looking at, this is the bridge of the Reliant, but it's also the bridge of the Enterprise. Right? So
just redressed.
Yeah, they did all of the Reliant stuff, and then they did all of the Enterprise stuff.
Smart.
Yeah, so I mean, in the film, Kirk and Khan never meet face to face.
Right.
And in reality, they never met during the filming.
That's so wild.
Right. Harv Bennett, he gets the job. He's like, okay, I guess I should find out like what Star Trek is. So he goes and he screens all 79 episodes of the original show.
Wow.
So there's an episode in the first season called Space Seed. And that's the introduction of the Khan character. And the episode ends with essentially a sequel setup where it's kind of like, we should come back one day and see what happened to Khan, right? And when you think about it, it's the episode itself, it's a good episode, but there are better episodes. But to watch and be like, yeah, that's the one. We're going to do a sequel to that one. Like, I'm sort of fascinated by that.
Right.
Knowing that it ended up being sort of, 40 years later, it's still beloved among the fan base. And I think even the general public has an awareness. Yeah, this is the good one. BB Besh over here on the right as Carol Marcus. We saw her recently in when we did our Tremors commentary track. She's the older couple that in the car that gets pulled under.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't put that together.
Yeah, she was the mother of Samantha Mathis.
Wow.
The actor.
And then she does not return, right, in sequels?
Correct. She's was
played
her
by someone
appearance.
Else? Yeah.
She the character doesn't come back.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but in Star Trek Into Darkness, that character is the reboot version is played by Alice Eve.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This did make me want to revisit the second Abrams one because I know it's kind
Yeah.
of a riff off of this one. And just
It
now
is.
that this is fresh in my head, I kind of wanted to see it again.
Yeah, that film, I I was pretty nonplussed when I saw it 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Because it did feel like it was trying to take an unearned bow off the back of this.
Right. Right.
I've probably softened a little bit on it now, but I mean, I think I feel like this movie, it doesn't replay other beats to get you emotionally engaged.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the genius of the story that Harv Bennett and Nick Meyer were able to construct. Where again, even if you're coming in cold, you can catch on.
Oh, yeah. It's like this is a guy Kirk betrayed once, and now he's
Yeah.
just hell-bent on revenge.
Like I had not seen Space Seed when I watched this film. I watched that episode later.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I got it. Walter Koenig as Chekhov was not actually part of the cast.
I was reading about that. Yeah.
So he gets the script and he realizes right away. He's like, well, I wasn't in that episode. But he's like, if I say something, I'm going to lose like the juiciest job I've had as Chekhov. Like,
Oh, that's that. Yeah, that's smart.
so he's like, I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and I
smart.
mean, Meyer has said as much. Like, well, he wasn't part of the main cast. That doesn't mean he wasn't on the ship. Like, it's a big ship.
Yeah, maybe he got promoted.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine with me.
Yeah.
Paul Winfield as Captain Terrell. This is one of 2 Star Trek appearances he made. He later appeared in a 5th season episode of The Next Generation as an alien.
Oh, funny.
He was also in The Terminator like 2 years after this.
Yeah, he was. I was like, "Who is that guy?" And so I looked it up. Like, oh, of course,
Traxler.
from the yeah.
So the Botany Bay, in real life, right? The Botany Bay was the name of a prison ship that was sent to Australia, from England,
Yeah.
and that was one of the first Australian colonies.
Oh, interesting.
So there's sort of the historical precedent is the idea that these genetically engineered superhumans either fled Earth or were sent away from Earth with the idea like they'll find a colony somewhere else.
Right. Wait, so what? Yeah, what is that episode? I mean, can you tell us about it, Space Seed? What's the plot?
Yeah. Oh, actually, real quick, the gentleman with the beard right there, Commander Kyle, that is a character who appeared regularly on the original series. He was the transporter chief on the Enterprise.
Ah, good for him.
Played by John Winston. So Space Seed, the original episode, very simple. The Enterprise is out in space, and they find this derelict ship, the Botany Bay, floating in space, and they go on board, and they have all these people who are in suspended animation. And they eventually discover that these are the refugees of either the Third World War or what's called the Eugenics War, where these essentially mankind delving into things we weren't meant to do. They created genetically enhanced superhumans who took control of big chunks of the world. Among them, Khan Noonien Singh. And it's interesting because he's portrayed as a very charismatic person, and it was, this is the 1960s, so you say, oh, he's supposed to be Indian. Let's get a Latino guy.
Oh, right.
That's fine. But he is supposed to be Indian.
I see. Oh, really? That's so wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Khan Noonien Singh, and it's kind of this weird mixture of different ethnic regions. It doesn't make much sense.
Mm-hmm.
But Ricardo Montalban was in the original episode. And at the time he did this, he was in Fantasy Island.
Right.
So, he told the story about how he had to shift out of like playing Mr. Rourke gear. Right.
And get back into character from like a decade or more ago.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Rourke is very, oh, well, Tattoo, this man here is doing this. And, it's a lot of just expositing. And this role was very Shakespearean, Nicholas Myers told the story about how doing this scene here initially when they were filming it, he was really sort of yelling like he betrayed me and all this type of stuff. And here's Nick Meyer, this like kid, right? His 20s. And he's like, man, what do I say here? You know?
Right.
And he pulls him aside and he says, Laurence Olivier said, never show your audience your top because they'll know you have nowhere else to go past that.
Wow.
And Ricardo Montalban pauses for a second. He says, oh, you're directing me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And if and he makes this great point. This is something Nicholas Meyer says. He's like, like the most scary villains are the ones who aren't screaming.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They're the ones who are the most eerily calm.
He has so much composure. This is, he's so captivating in this movie.
He really is,
Yeah.
Like right here, he has like one moment where he kind of lets loose, but that's you ramped up to that,
right?
In terms of raising his voice, and that's really, I think Meyer's whole approach. He too, by the way, it's very interesting because he kind of got pulled in because they went through a whole bunch of different drafts. They knew they wanted to bring back Khan, they wanted to do a couple of things, but they couldn't get it all together. So Nicholas Meyer gets roped in based on some of the people that are on the project who know his work, and so he sits down with Harve Bennett and he's like, let's just make a list of all the stuff from all these various drafts that we like. And we'll just try to put it all into something. And he's told the story. Like they needed a finished script inside of 12 days because that's when all the effects work and everything was going to begin. They didn't have a completed script.
Wow. And
he's like, give me all the drafts and I'll figure it out. And he did it. He's like, I'll get it to you in 12 days. And they're like, in 12 days isn't even enough to like get your deal, like to make sure you get your credit. He's like, forget the credit. There's not going to be a movie.
Right.
And so he is not credited as a screenwriter, even though it is his script.
Oh, interesting.
And he said, and he's like, yeah, I probably lost a lot of money because of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
He turned it around in 12 days.
That's incredible.
Right. And when you realize, like, as a work of screencraft, the screenplay holds up remarkably well. I mean, you could teach a class about all the things that it does.
I think, I mean, this isn't like a huge special effects movie. I mean, the script is the movie.
That's right.
That's, if you like it, it's the script and the performances. So yeah,
that's exactly right. Yeah.
I was wondering how they did that. He lifts Chekhov like that. I was looking for the cable. It looks really good.
So that is Montalban's real chest.
Yeah, I remember, for as little as I know about this movie, that was one of the things I did know, that there was some rumor that he's wearing some sort of prosthetic chest. And it is quite impressive. But so that's really him, huh?
That's Nick Meyer has said repeatedly, that is in fact his chest.
Wow.
So I have no reason to believe he's lying.
Yeah. We should all be so lucky.
I know, exactly.
So now this was another thing before I was very familiar with the movie that I knew was there was like a scene that horrified everybody. Mm-hmm. And this would be it.
Yeah, I think just the notion of any creepy crawly going into your ear.
Yeah.
Is any orifice, I would imagine.
Yeah. Something very grotesque about that, unnerving, because it, weirdly, as disgusting as this creature is, like that could happen to you.
Yes,
like some bug while you're sleeping could crawl in your ear. So there's just sort of a relatable sort of horror to it.
That's right.
But yeah, and I'm just sort of good. Sorry,
I was saying I really like the. I mean, it's obviously a puppet, right? But it got enough sort of goo on and stuff, and you're like, no, that's a real thing right there.
Yeah, it's like pulsating. Yeah. Kind of the clever ways we just recently, both of us saw E.T., right, in IMAX or whatever, and it's like just the little things they do to make you believe he's alive, like giving his wrist a pulse, and just it's very these puppeteers are very clever.
Sorry, you were saying?
No, I was just going to say, no, is this... Oh, no, you said Myers had directed before. He had one or two films before this, but
yeah. So before this, Nicholas Meyer did, like I said, Time After Time. After this, he did The Day After.
which is kind of an interesting thing to read about.
Yes.
Like, I mean, that was like a real event TV movie that seems like it really had an enormous audience, had a huge effect on people. It's
That's
basically if like a nuclear bomb goes off, right? And how the world
right.
proceeds.
Yeah, very much a character piece, and really a showcase for his ability to construct a story. In terms of Star Trek, he wrote the fourth film. He co-wrote the fourth film, and he wrote and directed the sixth film.
Okay.
So, I mean, it tells you something that if people were to rank their favorites, certainly of these six, like it'll be one of his that's most likely at the top, you know?
Right. Yeah. 4, I know, even as a kid, everyone had like seen 4. I don't know why that is, but
that was the funny one. People, you can go see that. It's funny, you know?
And, that, and also maybe it being set on Earth even was part of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So all these effects shots, again, these are from the first film.
Wow. I mean, do you, being so familiar with the movies, actually recognize? Because, I mean, if I were to watch Terminator 9 and they were to put in some sort of shot from 2, which I know backwards and forwards, I'd be like, oh, well, I know that shot. I mean, do you recognize this?
Oh, for me, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's in the first film, there's an extended sequence of Captain Kirk in one of these travel pods with Scotty, where it's just sort of this luxurious view of the Enterprise going up this way and up that way, and it's quite long, but I enjoy it because there's a beautiful piece of Goldsmith music. So I mean, certainly I know every shot of that sequence, but I would assume anybody who was watching this when it came out was like, oh yeah, that's from the first film.
Right.
And I don't even say that as a negative because I'm like, yeah, well, they needed to keep the costs down because this had essentially a TV movie budget.
Right.
Which makes all the more remarkable what they were able to accomplish in terms of getting people to turn out. People didn't say, oh, it looks cheap or anything like that.
It still looks. Oh, that was actually what I was getting about to say earlier in the other scene. I kind of lost my train of thought. But this movie looks cinematic.
Yeah.
Right. Like the compositions. I love that composition of Chekhov and who's the other man?
Oh, Captain Terrell.
Because they're these prisoners and they're on their knees. And you could, do some like medium shot or whatever, but it's like they keep showing these huge wide shots of them absolutely surrounded by the enemy. And it's framed so beautifully and it feels really ominous for them. And I was like this is good direction.
I also, I mean, on that, in that vein, there isn't a ton of close-ups in this film. It's a lot of two shots and a lot of sort of, you see an actor and then you see the other actor's reaction within the same shot. Even something like this right here with Spock and Savick. It's an interesting stylistic choice.
It's funny. It's making me confront a complaint that I have a lot these days, which is when I watch streaming things, everything tends to be sort of like these medium shots, as if they just sort of pointed a camera, captured the scene, slap it together in editing, and there's no sort of intentionality to it. But I think when that specific shot you just called out, you have to look at the blocking, with I was gonna say Nimoy, Spock, like, confidently looking in one direction and Savick sort of behind him and leaning in, just their sort of sly conversation in their native tongue to one another. I mean, there's something to be said about also making a shot dynamic.
That's true.
Right. And so maybe that's part of it too. What's missing.
This bit right here is something that's added for the director's edition. So that's Ike Eisenman as Peter Preston, who in the extended cut, it's clarified that he is Scotty's nephew.
Right. Because I watched the non-director's cut on accident before doing this. And Scotty seems very broken up over his death later. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Was he like his assistant or something?
Right. You can intuit that, he feels, maybe he's like a kid and he feels close to him. But it's specifically his blood relation.
So what can you tell me a little bit about the director's cut? Like why these things, it's not like 15 minutes were added back. It's like these little moments. I mean, was that something that Myers regretted? And was
Well,
able
I
to.
think what Nick Meyer has said is that he considers the theatrical cut his cut. Like he doesn't even call this the director's cut. They call it a director's edition. Because he was like, look, it played, it did fine. Why mess with it, right?
Right.
But there were certain things that he fought for that he ended up losing the battle on. Among them being Scotty's nephew. And so, given the opportunity to add that stuff back initially, it was for like the TV edit,
Yeah.
He was like, why not? And so that exists, and I think like there's a director's cut of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which is substantially better than the theatrical cut.
Really? In what way?
Well, Robert Wise like famously said like he didn't get to. It's the only movie he never got to test in front of audiences. Essentially, it was his initial edit. Like the film was wet, the reel was wet, and he took it right to the premiere.
Right.
And there was an extended version that aired on TV, but it was not one that he supervised. So in 1999, so 20 years after it came out for the DVD release, this is when Robert Wise was still alive, obviously, he had an opportunity to go back and re-edit it, redo some of the effects, and arrive at a movie that he considered his final edit. And that version, he died shortly thereafter, but that version for the longest time was not available in high definition because they didn't future-proof it. So it was like standard def, and that's what they mastered it on. So it's only recently become available now in 4K. Paramount has been notorious about not future-proofing Star Trek. And I don't know why that is, because it is a brand that is an evergreen for them.
Yeah, yeah.
But for whatever reason, like even some of the latter TV shows, specifically Deep Space Nine and Voyager, those were rendered in standard definition, and all of the original elements and everything are all gone. So there's no way to convert it to HD. It's just stuck in SD forever.
That's so weird.
And unlike, Next Generation, they actually, about 10 years ago, they went back and they recomposited all the effects and everything and mastered it in high def. Obviously, the original series was on film anyway, so they were able to do that for Blu-ray. But it's expensive, and they don't tend to want to spend money on it.
Sure.
And I get it, but I'm also like, there's always going to be an audience for Star Trek.
Yeah, this stuff will be playing for the rest of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, there's a funny bit that we just passed where Spock tells Saavik to take the con, and you see Kirk getting a little nervous, and McCoy's like, "You want a tranquilizer?"
Yeah.
And I'm always like, well, she's just sitting in the chair and saying, like, take us out. I mean, she's not driving the ship, Like, I think Sulu's the one who's like doing the important stuff,
That's really funny. Yeah.
Like we have cars that you just hit a button, they park automatically. So that's a starship, Now, this model right here for the regular one space station, this is in the first film, but for this one, they just flipped it upside down.
Wait, like you mean reused it?
Yeah, it's
like repurpose it is rather what
they
I mean.
Repurposed it and they just turned it upside down, and they're like, it's a new space station. And it works.
It's kind of genius. I can just see the director looking at the model and just and then flipping it upside down. Going,
you've got like a handful of things, and it's like, what do you do, right?
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, good.
The actor who plays David, Marcus Merritt Buttrick, he passed away at the close of the decade, but he also appeared in an episode of Next Generation.
Oh.
In fact, he appeared in an episode, this is in the first season, opposite Judson Scott, who plays Khan's surrogate son.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in this one.
Oh, funny.
The one who's like constantly pleading with Khan to like take it down a notch.
You're right. right. Did you read that about him though? I guess, does he not have a credit or something?
He did not get credited, which is some bullshit, right?
Yeah, that's insane. And I guess apparently it was his agent at the time thought he could get him a better deal or better credit placement. And then through all that finagling, he never got one at all.
That's right. Like, you fire your agent at that point, right?
Yeah, that's madness. I mean, not credited at all.
Yeah.
But,
Now there was a scene earlier in the film when Admiral Kirk's party is going to the Enterprise, where Kirk says, "I hate inspections," and Sulu says, "I'm delighted. Any chance to go aboard Enterprise," and he opens his mouth, and then we cut away. Which is very funny. Like if you're looking for it, you can notice it, because there was a whole bit there where Sulu talks about how he's about to become captain of his own ship, and this is one of his last times that he's going to be aboard the Enterprise, and there's a whole thing. And supposedly, this is per George Takei, William Shatner was so uninvested in performing that they ended up cutting the scene. And so, like, Takei has had this beef with William Shatner about how he lost his big moment to be announcing that he's going to be a captain.
Wait, so meaning William Shatner just didn't even care about that story, so he wouldn't even perform in the scene? Like became unusable?
I mean, this is per George Takei, right?
Sure.
Which I guess maybe, right?
Wow.
I'm thinking more likely it's like, well, I mean, you got to make some trims, right? And sometimes you make trims that you're not happy with.
Sure.
But it is very funny because that was kind of his whole thing, George Takei. Like, I want Sulu to be a captain, and he becomes a captain in the 6th film, right? But somebody said, I can't remember who, is like, why do you want to be a captain on another ship? Like, all the action is on this ship.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You want to stay on this one, you know?
Right. Well, I was oh wait, by the way, okay, going back to the TV versions you were talking about.
Yeah.
When I was reading about deleted scenes, this is something I'm fascinated by. The fact that they're almost entirely different versions of films that were created for like ABC Sunday night movies, you know, like That's Superman. Right. And I was reading a lot about the deleted scenes of this.
But real quick,
that's hilarious.
Hit pause. This is a cool little practical effect that just happened, which you don't necessarily think about.
Yeah.
When the turbo lift doors open, when they got on, it was a completely different set. And it opens again. And I'm like, it's all in camera. It's one shot.
I read it was just them moving the walls in the background. Yeah.
You know, you don't even think about it.
No.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, but so when I was reading about the deleted scenes, they were saying, yeah, this scene is blah, 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 but it's not the same. It's a different version than the ABC TV version. Like they actually used a different take of them saying this line. And for example, in this elevator scene, when Kirk's in there with Savick, they cut to close-ups instead of staying in like the medium wide thing.
That's right.
And they said it seemed more like seductive. And I was like, that is so, it's like a whole different version of the scene.
Yeah.
For television. Like that's
right.
I mean, at what point did they make those versions? You know, I mean, like that have different sort of implications to them.
Yeah. And it goes against the filmmaker's intentions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I guess,
you're mentioning TV versions. I mean, there's an extended version of Dune, the David Lynch Dune, that he took his name off of.
Right.
You know?
So it almost feels like a sort of studio thing. I know, for example, like Superman or I don't know, some other movie, whatever, like they extend them so they can get 2 nights out of them, right?
Yeah. I
so
believe King Kong, the 76 King Kong, they did that.
Right. And which kind of makes sense, sort of. But I mean, I guess, if you're not involving the director and you're just some suit opening up the film and just throwing everything back in so you can get more advertising dollars, you know, on TV, that just feels crazy.
I mean, the extended edition of Superman is 3 hours plus, I think. And it's, I've said, I mean, it's a weaker version of the movie because all it is just adding the ins and outs of scenes. You know, and it's like the movie was made to have a certain pace. Right. This set, I remember Leonard Nimoy talking about how unhappy he was with how tacky this looks. Like he's got this sort of garish Vulcan logo on the wall, you know. That was something that when he came back, when they showed Spock's quarters in a later film, in the 6th one, in fact, where Leonard Nimoy was the executive producer, he wanted to ensure that it was not tacky.
That's so funny because without even like fully forming the thought in my head, I remember watching the scene and feeling like this scene looked cheap or something. I mean, the scene is great itself, but it just looked like they only had a corner and they're like, throw something shiny on the wall.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean,
That's so funny that actually, yeah.
And that Nimoy had the awareness of being like, yeah, no, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a great scene right here.
It's a
By the way,
great scene. Yeah.
You buy the friendship, and going back to what I was saying earlier, like it's not like the entire film we go on this like epic adventure with Kirk and Spock fighting death out, and I mean the friendship is hit home in just scenes like this, just them talking to each other,
their interaction. Yeah.
I mean, like that to me, it's so interesting because when you have the context of the television show, you're able to say, oh well, yeah, we know their friendship, but you just watch this film by its own, and you're like, no, I completely believe that they're friends.
Yeah, especially the way, I mean, with Spock being sort of an emotionless character,
Yeah,
just his frankness,
That's
being
right.
like, you're a captain, you should be a captain, and like, hey, I'm your friend. Like, it's just so, you could imagine it going a way where none of it hits, but instead it hits extra deep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you don't have to worry about sparing my feelings. Like I get it,
Mm-hmm.
I think for William Shatner, this is something that Nicholas Meyer talked about, how we have the birthday scene early in the film, and Kirk is turning 50. That's what he's
Right.
sort of grappling with, but we don't mention his age because that was something that Shatner felt very self-conscious about.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting.
And
Like not putting a number to it.
not putting a number to it, right? And yet I think that's the most rich vein of story in this entire film, right? It's about Kirk grappling with mortality. It's about this indomitable space hero who's feeling the pull of the years as they, start passing him by. Like that's the stuff that resonates. I mean, I saw this movie for the first time when I was like 9, and it resonated with me, right? Because it's you get it. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And this is something that Nicholas Meyer said. He said that he fought hard to put a number on it because he said that in specificity you find universality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the more specific it is, the more you can be like that's something within my frame of reference. I understand that.
Right.
And that was the constant push and pull that they had with Gene Roddenberry, who Gene Roddenberry's an interesting guy, right? Because he created something amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek is a universe that we would want to live in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody gets along. We've worked through our issues as human beings, and we survive. We make it. Well, that's amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's also somebody who kind of drank his own Kool-Aid a little bit.
Is that what it is?
I think so, because I think and this is my critique, right? I think that when you say that human beings have worked through our differences and we are now perfect, well, that's not believable to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because human history tells me that has never been the case. The idea that we are constantly striving for perfection and we're getting a lot closer, we're better than we are now.
Right.
But we still got stuff to work through. Like that's more interesting to me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, the things like, at one point, and I don't know if you can even see it on the bridge set, but there was like a no smoking sign on the bridge.
I read about that. Yeah. I didn't notice it though.
Roddenberry pushed back on it. He's like, no, in the 23rd century, they don't smoke. And Nicholas Meyer's like, people always smoke, like,
right.
And stuff like that. So you can appreciate the utopianism, but certainly just as a matter of drama, it becomes a challenge,
Yeah.
But when it came time, like by the time of this film and through the remainder of the original series films, Roddenberry had been kicked out effectively of the key decisions. He would fire off memos that would usually be ignored, right? When it came time for the next generation, they went to him. They went to a couple other people first. They went to Leonard Nimoy first, and he's like, "No, I'm too busy."
Right. Wait,
and
to do what?
Like, to develop that show.
Okay.
The Next Generation. But eventually it was like, well, I guess we should have Gene Roddenberry do it. So he was in a position of power, and so he set forth edicts like, Starfleet personnel don't argue with each other. We don't, no arguments among Starfleet, because Starfleet is the best. And again, you can appreciate the utopianism of it, right? That's it'd be nice.
Right.
But boy, is that a drama killer.
Right.
Right. And
it's
so
like
that's
the Itchy and Scratchy lemonade. Yes, please.
Kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, I should mention this right here is first CGI sequence in a movie.
Yeah, amazing. From the people who'd go on to be Pixar.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and from ILM, I should say.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you look at it and it looks very much like an animated thing, right?
But it does look pretty good, doesn't it?
It certainly for as old as it is, era, but
and for being a simulation, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, they were smart enough to be like, we should use this, but people aren't going to buy it. So, in the context of a simulation,
yes,
it works. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we see, for example, the Genesis planet being created. They didn't try to use that for that. You know what I mean?
Right. As the literal,
Yeah. This sequence is great. The dialogue sequence coming up here, because it's a perfect evocation of why these three characters work so well together. Essentially, if Captain Kirk is our hero, McCoy and Spock represent aspects of him. His the clinical logic and the raw emotion, and Kirk is sort of the gestalt. It comes together in him.
Right.
But it's sort of like the angel and the devil on his shoulders.
Totally.
I think DeForest Kelley was in the original series. The opening credits, at least in the first season, it was starring William Shatner, co-starring Leonard Nimoy, and that's it. So the other cast members, the other crew, I mean, they all kind of hated on Shatner for being like, oh, he treated us like we were just day players or whatever, and maybe he did. But I'm also like, it wasn't an ensemble show in that vein.
That's interesting. The whole time?
Right?
It wasn't seen that way?
It really was. I mean, it was a star vehicle. It was a two-hander. Right? And DeForest Kelley in the first season made such a strong mark that he got upped to the opening credits in the second and third season.
It's like Gilligan's Island and the rest.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean,
then he finally got his Professor and Mary Ann.
It is like that because in all three seasons, Scotty, Sulu, Chekhov, they're all also starring in the end credits. And that's not minimizing what they did, because they're all integral parts of the show, but it was not conceived as an ensemble piece. I mean, the crew members were the crew members.
I see. It's so weird now because I only know it, all these years later as how we receive it now.
And I think part of that is because of these films.
Sure. Interesting.
By the time you get to like movie 4, it's like, well, we got to have, Sulu, right?
Right.
This sequence is such a great. I think it's one of the best scenes in any Star Trek film. But in terms of this initial encounter with the Reliant, sort of the ratcheting tension, and you have to give credit to the editing, because this only works because of the editing.
Yeah.
Totally.
Wait, can we talk about Saavik really quickly?
Yeah.
So just she's interesting. She's Romulan and Vulcan, right? So she has a bit more emotion.
Although that's never stated on film, but yeah.
Not even in the deleted version?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought she was an interesting character, and she comes back, but she's played by someone else, right?
That's right. Yeah. So Kirstie Alley only played her in this one. She appears again in 3 and 4, played by Robin Curtis.
Okay.
And Robin Curtis seems to play her like just straight ahead as a Vulcan. And my understanding is it was just like they wanted her to come back, and she was not on Cheers at that point. So it wasn't, you know what I mean? Because she didn't start on Cheers until like 87, I think.
Oh, wow.
So she could have been in 3 and 4, but she for whatever reason.
Hmm.
But certainly she makes a strong mark here. In the sixth film, there's a character called Valeris who's played by what's her name? Kim Cattrall.
Right.
Kim Cattrall was actually Nick Meyer's first choice for Savick. That didn't happen. But that character, Valeris, was originally supposed to be Savick. And if you've seen the film, and anybody listening has probably seen it, that character ends up being a traitor.
Oh.
And so it was meant to be much more of a gut punch that like Savick ends up betraying them.
Yeah.
And at the time, again, this is Gene Roddenberry at the tail end of his life. He put out a memo. He's like, she's a beloved character. You can't do that. And Nicholas Meyer was like, you know what? I created Savick in a film I wrote. So if Gene Roddenberry wants to have any say about her, give me back all the money you made off of her,
Right. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the Roddenberry saga through all of this has been very interesting because the franchise sort of moved away from, his intentions, arguably, but I think the things that are most affiliated with it are things that he had nothing to do with.
It's so interesting. How is he perceived by the fans?
I think that, well, I mean, in the 30 plus years since he's been gone, I think the complexities of who he is have emerged. I mean, it's like, well, he was a person, right?
Right.
But at the time, yeah, I mean, he's the guy who created Star Trek. He's a great bird of the galaxy,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's with a lot of this stuff, right? It's like you get it, you get the craft afloat, and you always deserve credit for that.
Right.
But when Roddenberry looked at this film, he hated the sort of overt militarism of it. This is very, very nautical.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
That hadn't been previously?
Well, that's the weird thing, right? Is I think Harv Bennett was sort of perplexed by it because he's like, it's a fleet, and it's the U.S.S. this, and they're admirals and captains, and they have torpedoes, and like it's a naval armada in space. How else can you know what I mean?
Right.
And then Roddenberry's like, well, no, it's not military. And so kind of like, well, was it then? And you just changed your mind, or like what,
Mm-hmm.
And so again, it's sort of this like, well, you're saying this, but I'm looking at the work and it's this,
Right.
And again, these uniforms, the way they're, you got like the flaps here and the thing, and it doesn't look particularly futuristic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're very sharp. I like these uniforms, but they look like naval uniforms,
Right. And it's funny coming from an outsider who just sat down and watched all the, the shows. Like,
yeah,
well, this is what I saw.
He's like, well, I just watched all 79 of them, and
yeah.
Like, I think that the Next Generation cast, they would talk about how one of the things they hated about their uniforms is that there were no pockets.
Right.
And it drove them nuts. And you say, like, will human beings ever reach a point where we don't need pockets?
Right. Right.
Like, is that the pinnacle of human evolution? And that's kind of, I mean, like, I think that's what differentiates Star Trek and Star Wars for me, right? Like, I think that these franchises were never in competition with each other because they're doing something different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Star Wars is pure escapism.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Star Trek, there's an aspirational quality to it.
Right.
Like, I don't know that the Star Wars universe is a place you necessarily want to live. Like, it seems kind of terrible. Planets are getting blown up, and you're getting choked to death and stuff,
It's one of those things that you don't, because when you said that, I was like, sure, I do. And then when you actually think about it, you're like, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not.
So this entire sequence, I mean, this is as close as we get to a face-to-face confrontation between them.
Yeah.
It never happens throughout. Now, you have to imagine that Ricardo Montalban is exchanging lines with, like, the script girl.
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I love this right here where Kirk is like, keep nodding your head. Like,
I love this. This is good.
And then Spock's just like, mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, good, like, experienced leader sort of tactics, Like, like
Yeah,
lived
well,
in.
and that's the cool thing to me, right? Because Shatner really pushed hard for like a fisticuff face off with Khan.
I had read about that. Like a sword fight was originally scripted or something, right?
Yeah, and Meyer like could not figure out a way to make it work organically, right?
Right.
And so in the third film that comes next, we have Kirk squaring off with the Klingon captain, who's played by Christopher Lloyd, and I think that was put in there very deliberately because he wanted like just to do like the Kirk fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually, first of all, I think you can go through this entire movie and not even realize that, oh yeah, they never actually met,
It's true because you still feel that energy.
Yeah.
The combativeness. But yeah, it doesn't happen.
But the other thing to me is we see Kirk's smarts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think, but I should mention real quick, there's this whole thing where they find the prefix code. I remember the Mad Magazine adaptation of this. I think it was called Starblech, the Wreck of Corn.
That sounds right.
and it's I think Spock is like, well, we have to find the secret combination code, and Kirk is like, well, there could be millions of codes. There's no way for 1 2, and Spock is like 4 1 2. That's it.
That's so funny. You remember that?
I remember that specific thing.
Yeah.
But I like that the battle is a battle of wits.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So in the original episode, we see Kirk and Khan, they're going at it and they're fighting, and and that's something Kirk, like almost the stereotype of Captain Kirk is like he's the guy who's always throwing fists at people. But I think this is another aspect to me that's just as important, but it gets glossed over, that he's you don't get to be a captain just like that,
right?
Like he's a smart guy, right? And there's a bit later on here which is added for the director's edition where he tells McCoy, he's like, the only reason we're alive is because I knew something about these ships that he doesn't.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and it's a fun then setup with the Kobayashi Maru.
That's right.
Where he's the only person who's ever beaten it. It's like, well, there's as cocky or whatever he can be, or whatever your perception of him is. I mean, he's a smart guy, and he creates win scenarios and no win scenarios.
Yeah, it's something that the Abrams films really leaned hard into him being, just a fighting and effing guy. Like that's,
he's kind of roguish, yeah.
Right, and and that is sort of like the stereotype of Captain Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
But I think within those films, they've constructed a way to account for that, which is, well, this is who he was because he didn't have his dad. And the Captain Kirk in these films, well, that's the one who now Scotty obviously like should have gone to sickbay, right? Like that.
Why do you walk all the way up to the bridge?
I mean, you get in a turbo lift, you tell it where to go. So that means he got in and said bridge.
That's hilarious. I didn't even think about that. That's what I love about movies, by the way. Like, that makes absolutely no sense, and I did not even think about it. I just wanted to show you.
This is your fault. I just recently rewatched, because we were talking about Ben Stiller show, I rewatched the episode where James Doohan guest stars on the Ben Stiller show.
Oh, yeah. I saw that about a year ago.
Yeah. And it's just like Ben Stiller geeking out about Star Trek.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be like me having like some sort of show now, and I'm just like, I just want Robert Patrick to hang out with me for 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically it, right?
And everyone's like, why?
Now this bit here where we see Scotty get emotional, and there's a little bit more. You didn't see it in the theatrical cut,
right?
You can imagine being James Doohan and being like, well, God damn it,
Right? Like I had a whole motivation for this that I pay off beautifully. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
I mean, these films didn't give the secondary cast a ton to do. They would get maybe one scene each episode, but it's not that different from the original show.
That's funny you say that, because I did think about that with Chekhov, sort of having to do I'm under a brain control thing, and I'm not here for a lot of I'm not around, the leads, let's say, and like, how did he feel about that? But you saying that's always kind of been the case. That's interesting. Because the way I see it, I'm like, oh, I'm used to the movie posters and seeing their faces, and they're a team, they're a unit. But that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, I mean, most episodes would be Kirk, Spock, and McCoy beamed down to a planet, and Ensign Ricky,
right,
who pokes his head where he's not supposed to, and then he's dead. So it wasn't as much of an ensemble thing. I think that in between the end of the original show and the first film, they were going to do it as a series. Mm-hmm. They were going to bring it back as a series.
I see.
Called Star Trek Phase 2, which that ended up getting canceled because Paramount was going to start a network. This is in the 70s, before they started a network in the 90s. But the idea that then the original cast was going to come back, the idea that they proposed, the creatives, was it makes no sense for the captain to always beam down. Because that's irresponsible, right?
Right.
And so they proposed, like, we should have a second officer or have the first officer who goes on the missions and the captain's on the ship, right? Mm-hmm. And that ended up not happening in that show. But with the Next Generation, that was the idea. You have Captain Picard and you have Commander Riker.
Interesting.
The captain stays on the ship. The first officer beams down. Mm-hmm. And I think with that show, it worked because both Patrick Stewart and Jonathan Frakes are compelling figures. You can follow them both.
Right.
But with the way the original show was structured, we're following the captain. He's the one who goes on the adventures.
Yep. Yeah, it'd be weird to have Kirk just sitting in a chair like, how's it going?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Wait, did we miss it, by the way? But the McCoy saying, damn it, Jim?
Well, he says it. He says it in the birthday party scene.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Because I was reading that. I mean, that's like the line that everybody, like, I am your father, like some sort of iconic line for this character. But apparently this is the only time he's ever said it.
Well, I think you might be thinking of, is it the only time? I guess that's right.
I mean,
that almost sounds unbelievable, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Now, this right here, where she says, no flag officer shall beam into a hazardous area with our armed escort. And he's like, there's no regulation. I'm like, shouldn't there be, though? Like, funny. I mean, doesn't that seem obvious? Like, yeah.
Right.
Like, that seems like I love this. We will.
Yeah, I know. It's so good. And I was like, damn, there's some shade there, Spock. He's very intentional in his wording there. Be careful, just Kirk.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, the Spock McCoy relationship is really great, right? Because that's something that's carried over from the original show, is that they're always bickering with each other, but there's always that affection underlying it, right?
Playful.
Yeah, but like earlier in the film, right before the Reliant confrontation, he's like, "You green-blooded inhuman," and beep, they're cut off.
Yeah.
So it's almost like he didn't get a chance to sort of come back around and be like, "Hey, I'm just joshing you."
Yeah, that's funny. Wait, two things I want to say about the beaming thing there. So yes. they beam and the shot is static, and I was like, oh, it feels like an old thing, right? Where it's like the special effect has to happen in some like a shot that's locked off or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then the camera holds and then slowly pulls back, and I was like, ooh. I was like, fancy. I liked it. But then also, I told you beforehand, I went on the IMDb page for this, and instead of the video of the trailer playing, the Siskel and Ebert episode from 1982, where they reviewed Wrath of Khan, was playing, and so I watched it, and they were specifically called out the beaming in this, and they said, you know what we love about it, and I agree with them, is, you have Star Wars at this point with these wild over the top special effects, but they stuck to this very simple beaming effect, and it's just perfect. Like you don't need to like put some whistles and bells on it because you can. Like, there's just something about the simplicity of it that resembles, even the show still, that just feels right and feels satisfying. And I was like, yeah, I feel that too.
What's also interesting in that vein, because I hadn't even thought about what you're saying. You take for granted the visual language, right, of this franchise,
Mm-hmm.
or at least I do. But like they started out with the first film, I think, trying to on some level compete with Star Wars.
Okay, that's where all the
At
budget
least in
went.
terms of not so much in terms of laser beams and stuff, but in terms of scope, right?
Sure.
And I think with this one, they're like, I don't think we need to do that. Like that's not what people are showing up for.
Right.
They want to come and hang out with their friends again.
Right.
Certainly for me, like there's 6 of these movies, and some are better than others. A couple of them are not great, but I enjoy going through them because I'm like, these are my friends. I get to spend time with my friends.
Yep. Yeah, like if I were to rewatch this again soon, it wouldn't be for the battles; it's for the drama and the relationships.
Yeah,
which is a compliment.
Exactly. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of, by the way, we also talked about this before we got on, but going back to the Siskel and Ebert thing, I was sort of amazed with they're like, okay, we're going to be talking about Star Trek 2, we're going to be talking about Annie, we're going to be talking about Grease 2, and I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of movies that came out in 1982, and then we were saying Poltergeist, E.T., The Thing, Blade Runner, Tron. Like 82 was pretty stacked.
Not a bad year.
Yeah. And this movie did really well also, right? I mean, for the significantly lowered budget, I mean, worldwide it did about $100 million off of like 12 million or something.
And budget? For a minute there, it had the biggest opening weekend of all time.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, look, I mean, people can make fun of Trekkies and whatnot, but I mean, it was a very loyal fan base.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this was at a like arguably now, but certainly like in the 90s, Star Trek was ubiquitous, right? I mean, there was several shows on, and I mean, it was not something that was in danger of going away. But I think here you have Star Trek 2, and it's like, oh, this is like water in a desert for the fans, right? There's no guarantee that the spigot is going to stay on.
Right.
A whole different era when you think about it.
And it's interesting too. I was reading, going back to what you were saying about some of these other characters being and the rest, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these actors, it sounded like didn't even want to come back for this one, Nimoy included.
Nimoy especially, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, what can you speak to that a little bit? I mean, what was it because they felt like, well, so I can have my 3 scenes, or were they just over this?
I think at least insofar as Leonard Nimoy, I think he didn't want to come back for the movie.
Right. Oh, the first one?
The first film. And because when they were going to do it as a television series, he was not going to be on it.
I see.
And so the assumption was that he wouldn't come back for when that show got scuppered and they turned it into a movie. The assumption was he wouldn't be back. And Robert Wise told the story about how his daughter was like, well, you have to have Spock. And at the time, Leonard Nimoy was suing Paramount because of use of his likeness. He's like, I should be getting paid.
Oh.
Like he told this story about how I think he was visiting the UK, and there was like an ad for some alcoholic drink where it's Spock. It's Leonard Nimoy Spock, and his ears are drooping. And then he drinks this beer, and his ears like perk up. Right? And he's like, well, that's my face, and I'm not getting paid for that. Right?
Yeah. Damn right.
Like, that's not Spock. That's me. You know? And so he sued, like, rightly,
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I'm not going to play Spock again until this is straightened out. And basically, once Robert Wise was like, well, we got to have Spock on, like, they worked very quickly to get his deal worked out. And he said what it came down to for him was like, the idea of like, oh, everybody else came back, why didn't I come back? And am I prepared to answer questions like that for the rest of my life?
Wow.
That was for the first film,
Yeah.
For the second one, he's like, he hears, oh, they're going to do it like reduced budget. And he's like, I don't know. Do I want to? And it was more like, I respect the character. I don't want to do it, something cheap and disposable. And so it wasn't like the myth is he was like, I'll only come back if you kill me off. It wasn't that. It was Harve Bennett, like, trying to give him a hook. And he's like, how would you like a really cool death scene? And Leonard Nimoy was like, well, that'd be cool to play,
Yeah.
Like, go on, keep talking. And so the initial idea was Spock would die either in the first act or halfway through. and they kept pushing it until the end. But that was essentially the hook that got him interested.
Interesting. Yeah.
And
I read they were
no,
thinking, like a Psycho thing, like throw the audience off, have it.
That's right.
The death happened at the beginning. Yeah. I love his reaction here, by the way. Like, did I just hit my son?
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah, it's great. That's good.
Sorry.
He's good in this. Shatner, sorry, I just pivoted, but like Shatner became like such an easy person to impersonate his, there's something on the wing, kind of thing. Right. But like, he's good at Kirk, right?
He knows this character.
Yeah.
And I think without a doubt, this and possibly the sixth one are his best performances as the character. And it's because of the vulnerability,
Yeah.
He has a bit in coming out where he's like, I feel old, I feel worn out.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, it's so interesting. Like the idea that he pushed back on that, because I'm like, that's what makes him interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he is our hero and he is grappling with these insecurities,
Yeah.
Nick Meyer talked about how dealing with different energies of actors and how like Ricardo Montalban was somebody who was likely going to give you his best performance in early takes, and he would get less energetic the more time went on. Whereas Shatner, what Nicholas Meyer figured out is the longer you go, the more truthful his performance got.
Huh.
And the example he gave is earlier in the film, in the first showdown with Reliant, where he's supposed to say, here it comes, right before, so Khan is like, send me the data. He's like, here it comes. And then they do their little thing. And he kept like putting a button on it. So he kept being like, here it comes, like,
Yeah.
And he, Nicholas Meyer pulls him aside. He's like Khan's a smart guy. And if you say it like that, he'll know you've got a plan.
Right.
Like you just have to kind of just throw it off.
Yeah.
And they just kept going until he just kind of, like he just, the facade melted away just out of exhaustion or boredom or whatever it was.
That's really funny.
Right? And that's the vulnerability,
You almost, if Blu-rays had existed back then, you almost want to see not gag reel, but the collection of takes, like, here it comes, like just see all the different ways he did it.
That's that bit that we saw right there where Kirk zaps the little ear monster. That was something Gene Roddenberry had a problem with, because he's like, no, it's a life form. You should pick it up and save it. I'm like, all right, come on, man.
Hey, Gene, we have a snow cone machine in the other room. Would you like to see it?
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's funny though. And also insightful. Okay, that's his the ethos that he is.
But it does feel like between the end of the series and the beginning of the films, he started just really buying into his own hype.
Sure.
Loves the smell of his own farts.
Right. Sure. Right. Wait, can I ask you real quick about Khan's one glove? What is that? An injury he sustained in the episode or something? It's
not, but I took it as a Michael Jackson tribute.
That's what I was hoping it was. So I'm glad. Yeah.
Khan was king of the world. Michael Jackson was king of pop. It was around the same time.
That's right. You know how like Corey Feldman basically like adopted a Michael Jackson persona in the late 80s, and
Khan.
Dream a Little Dream. And he just started, you're like, why is he dressing and acting like Michael Jackson? That's what Ricardo Montalban, he did it first.
That's my headcanon. Wait, here it comes.
Here it is.
Here it comes. The moment everyone knows.
Yes. Yes.
Ooh, he's so mad.
God. It's funny, before we got on air, I was saying to Federica, I was like, commentary. I've got to go do it now. And
that's funny.
Yeah, I love movies in like widescreen where they just fill the screen with actors and like the blocking of people seated in various positions to make it. Well, speaking of, I mean, this is a little timely, but seeing Jaws in 3D recently, they have, just these scenes where they're in like a conference room, and everyone's just sort of talking to one another. And it is blocked really well, but you don't think about it a lot. But in 3D, where it was all of a sudden, the backs of people are right here, and this woman's standing right here, and then these people are sort of making a semicircle right here, and you're like, wow, what a dynamically, blocked frame. And I'm sort of thinking that here, where you've got Kirk pointed there, and you got her back shoulder here, and him looking forlorn over here. I mean, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing is, I mean, we like I said, we cut in, but we mostly cut into mediums, not a ton of close-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that allows sort of the cinematic frame to exist. It doesn't feel like TV.
Yeah. They're composed well.
Yeah. This thing here where he's gradually getting used to wearing glasses.
I know. I like that. Yeah.
A very funny runner throughout.
It's funny. I mean, I could save it for the end, but going back to what you're saying about his, I feel old. Like at the end of the movie when they're like, how do you feel? And he's like, I feel young. Yeah. Like that is one of those times. I don't know if you get this, but when you watch a movie and it's like kind of wrapping up and then someone says a line that's so good, you're like, oh, that's it. That's the last line. It's not going to get better than that. And his like, I feel young was like, whoop, that's the mic drop line. That's it. We're done.
The way he plays it.
Yep. Like he believes himself.
Yeah. And I think that William Shatner, to just picking up on the conversation we were having earlier, I mean, he has sort of become like a caricature, right? But you also have to appreciate the fact that he, as of this recording, he's in his 90s and he's still doing stuff,
I know. Yeah.
And it's remarkable the sheer stubborn longevity of that career, which doesn't just happen, is my point.
Sure. Right.
I think he's capable of remarkable nuance as an actor. I don't know if you ever watched Boston Legal.
No, I remember it, but
I mean, he was great on that show. I mean, he played a very kind of a quirky, eccentric character, but there were several layers there.
Right. No, this Carol Marcus character, is this invented by Meyer? I mean, it feels like such a big part of the Star Trek I'm familiar with. I mean, the fact that he has a son, that's a big deal. I mean, has this ever been, has she been hinted to before? Or
well, effectively, this is her first appearance. There's a mention in an episode of where he's talking. This is from the pilot episode. That there were two pilots for Star Trek. So the second one was the one that introduced Captain Kirk, and one of the other characters, who's his friend, is like, "Oh, and I introduced you to that little blonde lab tech, right?" And people have sort of retrofitted that as being Carol Marcus.
Sure,
but there was no hint, certainly no name ever mentioned, and this was her only appearance. But I think giving Kirk the one that got away, right? Like the sliding doors, like this is the life that he chose not to have.
Right.
And he's the result of that choice is a son who doesn't know him. Right. And I think that adds, like, to me, like, when he talks about, I feel young, right? I feel young because I know my son now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a chance to live again.
Right.
Of course, David is killed off in the next movie, so kind of a bummer. But
right.
Now we're talking about the effects work. I would say this is probably the one effect that does not so much this shot, which is
that shot's beautiful, but yes, the sort of like the waterfalls that feel like
that. Right, exactly. That's where you're like, well, that's not.
It reminds you of like in the 90s when you'd go to a mall and there'd be a store filled with pictures, and it was sort of like there was a light bulb that rotated, so it made it look like water was moving.
I remember when Amin and I first got married, we went to Chicago for the first time, and somebody gave us one of those
really?
Pictures as a wedding gift, and it was like the goddamn tackiest thing I've ever seen. It was so tacky that Spock would have hung it on his wall in his berth. That's how tacky it was. And you have to, like, my face was just frozen in like a rictus grin.
I can't even believe I didn't even know if you'd remember what I was talking about. It's funny that you have one.
Well, I don't have it anymore.
Sure.
It has been lost, quote unquote.
Right. Lost in the move. I love this.
Now,
I love her having to ask.
I love that it's, I guess, because he says he got a commendation for original thinking for having cheated on the test.
Yes.
But it's not an open secret because then everybody would do that.
Right. That's a good point. I like her character. She throws an interesting, thing into the mix with these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is this the introduction of the Kobayashi Maru?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting because that's one of the things I know about Star Trek. But that makes sense if this is one of the most popular films.
Yeah, and it's something that they play off in the Abrams film.
Yeah.
Where we actually see that universe's version of what Kirk did. And you see, by the way, Kirk is eating an apple in that scene, which is kind of a little homage to this.
When I did that here, I was like, oh, it recalled in my brain that he was eating an apple in that.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Now the music in this sequence is just terrific. James Horner, it's such a great score throughout. But I mean, it's when they were looking for a composer, like they couldn't afford Goldsmith, right? They were priced out because the budget was so low.
Right.
So they're like, okay, let's listen to some tapes, and they just find this guy.
Yeah.
And talk about a diamond in the rough,
Dude, yeah, what a find. Yeah.
So many of these hallways were repurposed for the Enterprise D on the Next Generation.
Oh.
And
smart.
And by the time, of course, right? And by the time Next Generation started, that was 87. So there were still two more original series movies that came out. The fifth one was 89 and the last one was 91. So by that time, Next Generation was very successful. So they were using Next Generation props in the movies.
Yeah. Yeah. That reminds me, with the Lord of the Rings series, right? Where it's like $1 billion or something like that. And they were saying some of the reasoning was, well, we're building a world that we intend to sustain for 5 seasons. And so off the bat, we got to pay for all of it, but we'll keep reusing it. And so, yeah, it makes sense when you have Star Trek and there's going to be more films and this and that. It's like you just get a warehouse, save all these hallways because you're going to reuse them.
Yeah.
Or you should at least. I mean,
the certain sets were built for basically the Phase 1 TV series, Phase 2 TV series, which ended up being repurposed for the motion picture. And some of those sets were used in some way, shape, or form all the way until the end of Star Trek Enterprise in 2005.
Wow.
Right?
That's great.
So talk about getting use out of a standing set. Oh, real quick, coming up right here. Give it 1 second. Hold on. I just noticed this recently. On the right there, that's James Horner.
Oh, really? With the glow stick?
Yeah, he was holding the glow stick.
Wow. Oh, that's cool. This is a great shot, by the way. I love this.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
We're the camera moving through the torpedo pod.
Yeah, as they're lifting all the grates and then it's good stuff.
But what's really cool, Brian, when you think about it, how many sets are we really seeing on the Enterprise? Because we've been in this room a couple times already.
I know, but you light it a little differently. Yeah. Yeah.
Like we get the bridge, we get the torpedo room, and like one hallway, which people are going hither and thither.
It's so fun.
And then now here we are. This is the Enterprise bridge again, just redressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But we're not thinking about it.
No. And also watching this, even with the sound off, like I'm feeling a real energy in my chest from this. Like it's ramping up. But I think it's what you said. I mean, it's great direction, and great editing, and no one's punching each other. But you're feeling
This had a TV movie budget, but by no means can you watch this and be like, oh, it looks like a TV movie.
Absolutely not. No. Yeah.
By the way, I should mention that all the effects shots that are not repurposed from the first one, those are all by ILM. ILM did the effects for the remainder of the original series movies, except for the fifth one. and it's sort of like working for the competition, right? Like,
right. Yeah. Sort of giving away your trade secrets with your competition a little bit. But it's interesting how some shots look really good. Like there was one of the Enterprise in front of like a planet or something. And I was like, man, that looks good. But then there are certain ones that just don't look great.
Yeah. I mean, that's the pitfalls of having to rely on the limitations of practical effects.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we sing the praises of them, rightly so, but you recognize, well, sometimes you just weren't able to do everything that you wanted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, this right here, where David has the sweater around his neck in 80s preppy fashion,
that jumped out to me too. Yeah.
Now, the funny thing about that is Gene Roddenberry complained about that.
Really?
And that one, I'm like, no, Gene was right.
That's really funny.
I'm like, yeah, no, that was a good call.
Yeah. It's so funny because it did stand out to me, but I was like, and I moved on. And it's just funny. As soon as you started calling it out, I was like, oh, well, I'll be. Like, it wasn't just me. That's really funny.
See, the game of wits here, I really love. Like essentially, Kirk, like, he knows that the only way to outwit Khan is to just tease his ego, his inflated sense of self. So as soon as he says, "I'm laughing at you," he can't have that.
Yep. Starts to lose it. And I love, his cohort there, just like, dude, we got a ship, we've got our people. Like
we got Genesis. I mean, that's like that's like you can hold the galaxy ransom with this A-bomb.
Yep. It's like Dr. Evil, right? Where his number 2 is just like, we're actually making millions and millions of dollars more with legitimate corporations than through evil. But Dr. Evil isn't having it. He wants to build something he can be proud of.
Yeah, the Genesis device, I think it began in earlier drafts as like the Omega machine or something like that, which sounds a little too like on the nose evil.
Sure, yeah, right.
But when you say that, no, it's this terraforming thing that it starts a whole new ecosystem, but first it basically nukes whatever's there. Like as MacGuffins go, that's a pretty good one.
I love it. It's got layers,
right? Because you say like, well, why would somebody invent something like this? And you say, well, it's this thing. It's to create. I mean, we have to use it where there's no life. Okay, but
right.
See, this whole, I mean, this is like a submarine battle in space, right?
It's so funny you say that because I just watched Red October last night.
Okay.
And I was, getting the same feelings. Like there's something to be said about things moving fast on screen is very exciting, but there's something also kind of delicious about two slow moving things just barely, like creeping up on one another. Cause then you lean forward, like go,
Yeah. Well, and I would imagine that some of the calculus had to be like, we can't play on Star Wars' turf because we'll lose.
Right.
We can't do what Star Wars does.
Right.
But this right here, this is a space battle you would not see in Star Wars.
Yeah, very different.
Right?
Yeah, but it does make you sort of grip your seat a little bit because the tension.
Yeah.
That's a good shot. That's cool. I love that stuff. Look at all that in that frame there. All those people sitting there watching like, how's this going to play out?
And the fact that it is right in front, they don't even see it.
Yep. It actually looks like 80s static, doesn't it?
I was thinking that. I was like, in 2022, we don't even get static like that.
No. That was like some Channel 3 stuff right there.
That's like the coax cable needs to get jiggled a little bit.
Yeah. Actually, I saw that somewhere where they were saying, say your age without saying your age. And it was like, the only way to play video games is through Channel 3. I was like, yep. Now he's super strong, right? Like that's kind of what that is there. He's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing too, is that we get like enough of who he is to kind of get the gist of it, but they don't give us a ton.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he lifts Chekhov earlier, I suppose, but
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, I actually just a couple days ago was Star Trek Day. For via Paramount Plus, and I don't know based on the date. I don't know how they came.
I was going to ask what the connection, with the number is.
I should look that up actually. But the one of the things they announced, which I thought was interesting, was a scripted podcast series written by Nicholas Meyer about Khan on SETI Alpha 5.
Interesting.
So kind of like the Khan story.
Yeah.
And I'm literally like, well, if Nick Meyer wrote it, then I'm interested.
Yeah, for sure. Curious.
Like, I think he had pitched it as like a series.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I mean, this thing, it's just like sitting there. It's all written, you know? And I'm like, hey, do it as a podcast. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
so where Spock says his pattern indicates two-dimensional thinking. I love that.
Me too.
Because that in, you know, yeah, like a submarine battle, you're only on one plane.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, we're in starships.
Yep.
You can go up and down.
Yep.
Right? And of course, from a 20th or 21st century perspective, of course he wouldn't think that wouldn't come naturally for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all this stuff. I like all this. No, but back to the podcast. I haven't listened to any narrative podcast, but that feels like an audiobook. Like that would be good.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it would be fun.
Yeah.
So Brian. Star Trek Day is September 8th because that is when the original series premiered.
Ah, nice.
Which, like, yeah, obviously. Why didn't I think of that? I mean, you know, when you think about it, the original show lasted for 3 seasons. Like,
that's amazing.
It was not considered a success.
In its time, it wasn't?
No, I mean...
Was it through reruns it became?
I mean, even then, right? The magic number for syndication is generally 100. But somehow they were able to push 80 episodes into syndication.
Yeah.
And that's when Star Trek became a hit.
Right.
And I mean, and now, I mean, it's a fixture, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just, you just never know, you know?
Yeah, you never know. This is all exciting stuff.
This is only tangentially connected, but earlier this morning I was watching the first X-Men film. And it's the scene where Wolverine is first introduced. You know, he's in a cage fight, and you know, just, you know, it's like Hugh Jackman's intro. And I was telling Amina, I was like, you know, sometimes you're people's second choice, and that's okay. Because like he was not the person they cast.
Yep. I
mean, you just never know. Is my point, right?
Yeah. You never know. Kind of like Aragorn too, right? With the
that's
Mortensen,
right.
And yeah,
another good example.
A lot of stories like that.
See, Khan is undone by his own ego, right? So it's very much. I mean, he quotes Ahab as he's dying, but I mean, it's a classic Ahab arc.
It's funny you say that because I've only seen this once, I think, before.
Okay.
And I remember just from the framing and the imagery, I was like, wait, from hell's heart, I stab it. I'm pretty sure he says that, which of course for me evokes Mr. Burns. Because I remember Mr. Burns saying that. And I was like, wait. So this must come from somewhere. And then I had no idea. I've never read Moby Dick. So I was like, oh, that's hilarious.
So you looked it up and then you found out where it's from?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really funny.
Because I with Khan saying it, I assumed it was like Shakespeare or something, but
yeah.
But that would be the Christopher Lloyd character, right? He's the Shakespeare guy.
No, that's Christopher Plummer in The Sixth.
Oh, Christopher Plummer, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of they get these actors to come in and really ham it up in the best way. But I do think to a large extent, Star Trek has made the mistake of chasing Khan in terms of trying to come up with a charismatic villain that that our leads have to square off against. And I think that's one aspect of Star Trek. But I think that there's other stories that you can tell, and maybe that's the mistake.
Right.
because none of the villains are as compelling as Khan. I think Christopher Plummer in the sixth one it comes close. But you got Malcolm McDowell in the seventh one, and he's fine, and you got Idris Elba in Star Trek Beyond. I mean, like they're all fine,
right?
But no one's Khan, This right here, I can hear the music in my head as we're watching them.
Yeah,
even on mute.
Yeah.
What's so great here is that if you don't know what's happening, you're just like, okay, I guess Spock is going to go down and help. But if you know what's going to happen, then it's this look of like he knows right now he's made the choice.
He's decided. Yeah. And I guess it's fitting for the character, but it's so subdued or understated. I love it.
Right.
He's like, okay.
Well, I mean, he says it right. Well, it's logical.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah, and the specific staging of his death, I don't think they'd figured it out. And then when you build the set and you realize you've got the glass and stuff, I think that was something that him and Shatner kind of like figured out. Like,
oh really?
So much more poignant. Yeah.
Wow. They did that in the Abrams one, right? Are you out of your Vulcan mind?
In I think in the first one.
Yeah, which I thought was very funny, and I did not remember it was from this.
Yeah, I mean, Carl Urban's performance is just a big love letter to DeForest Kelley. Like, all of them are kind of doing their own version. Carl Urban is like inhabiting, or channeling, the spirit of DeForest Kelley.
Right. Now, can you speak to the whole, remember and putting his hands on his face? I mean, was that them sort of setting up a way to continue this in sequels?
That was a Harv Bennett thing, and I think he was coming at it from his TV producer perspective. Where I don't think it was like, oh, we're going to bring back Spock. I don't think they seriously had that in mind. But I think on set, Harv Bennett tells Leonard Nimoy, like, can you do something that just like leaves a little thread dangling so that the next person can, like another story to tell. So not like, oh, we're going to bring back Spock and can you set that up? I don't think it was that. I think it's vague enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But we know there's something in Bones' mind now.
That's right.
Right.
I also think it's really cool here that we don't know how the engine works. We don't know what he's doing.
We don't, yes.
Right. And yet you're watching and you're like, oh my gosh, like he's dying, like
it's so funny you say that. Cause I did have that when it shows him putting the thing back on, I was like, what is he doing?
Here's the way I interpret it. It's like, if like something's clogged in your toilet and nothing else is working, then you got to put on the rubber glove and just reach in and unclog it. That's what he did with the equivalent of with the Enterprise's engine.
And then some guy off screen just like, you gotta jiggle it. I mean, by the way, it didn't take me out at all, but I was just like, oh, it's fine. I like the generic business. But the lights are so dramatic, you don't care.
I think that's the thing, right? Is like, I'm sure that like technical manuals exist and whatever. I'm sure you could go online and figure out exactly what he did. Sure. But in the moment, you really don't. It doesn't matter, right? Yeah. Because we care. Because of the way the other characters are reacting. Right. And
it looks dangerous with all the light and smoke blowing on him. You're like, he should not be in there.
If the human, the emotional stuff is where it needs to be, then we'll buy all the Gleep Glop stuff.
100%.
So the Genesis planet, if you notice, the nebula immediately disappears when the bomb explodes.
Yeah.
This is how the Genesis planet is formed. It's because nebulas are where stars are created. So it's the combination of the Genesis effect within this nebula. It's pulled in, and that's what leads to the planet being born.
I didn't think about it. What'd I miss?
Yeah. What's going on? Hey, where'd the nebula go? See, I've seen this movie, God, Brian, I don't even know how many times, but every time Bones says, better hurry, I feel this little catch in my chest.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And I love Kirk glances over at the chair, you know?
Yep. Yeah. And then
Because
if he's saying that, yeah.
Why would Bones be in engineering, right?
Yep. That's funny. Yeah, watching this the other night, I remember thinking, if he says that, you're like, ooh, gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now how when real quick, sorry, when he comes down the stairs here, and then I love how he comes around and he just lingers right here as he's processing what he's seeing.
Yeah.
And then he exits the frame.
Yeah, that's good.
And then there's the guy down there who's just like holding his leg.
Oh, poor guy. I can't even see his face.
And then he kind of taps his head and the guy just leaves. I'm like, is this a regular occurrence? Like, because what's this? He like taps his head and the guy just gets up and goes, okay, done now.
That's so funny. How do you think I even clocked that?
This sequence is just so great. He mouths his name. He can't even get it out.
Yeah.
But what I love is here, if you're in the audience watching opening, you're like, oh, no, he's fine. He's fine. You know, he kind of straightens his, no, he's okay. He's Spock. He's, you know.
See, it's funny for me knowing that this is where he's dying. I love him straightening his coat out.
Yeah.
Yeah, this must have been wild to see for the first time. Like, oh shoot, they're really doing it.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, right? Like, we watched this movie now, knowing Leonard Nimoy came back like in 4 more movies, and he was on an episode of Next Generation, and he was in like 2 of the new movies. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but the power of this scene is it's still emotional.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Because of what he was willing to do and what it means to the people around him.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's such a trick, right? Like, I think part of what makes an emotional death scene work in this stuff is like, you have to honor the sacrifice by not bringing the character back.
Mm.
And I don't know if I'm coming at it from the perspective of like, well, when I saw the film, I already knew that the next one was called The Search for Spock, and you're not going to search for Spock unless you find him, you know, like,
right.
So, like, you know, but I still like the back and forth, you know, I never took the Kobayashi Maru test until now. What do you think of my salute? I mean, that's great, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
good writing.
The way it calls out the hollowness of Kirk saying, I don't believe in a no-win scenario.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, sometimes that's all there is the no-win scenario.
Yeah.
And the way Kirk just kind of collapses here, it's so great.
Yeah. This is so good. Honestly, and you speaking about this being like a TV budget, this may as well be a TV movie. I mean, look how cinematic this looks.
Yeah.
There's just no excuse. You know, people know how to do it. You can tell.
Look at this. When we cut to the reverse here, it's like the life drains out of Kirk's body too. That's great.
Yeah.
You know, look at that.
Yeah. So good. I'm getting like a lump in my throat just watching it.
I know. And the way in terms of the score, the way Horner took his Spock theme and wove it into the Star Trek fanfare in this kind of mournful way.
So going back to Saavik, right, being part Romulan.
Yeah.
I guess
that's why we see her crying here.
Her crying, yeah. Which I thought I'd read that some people weren't on board with.
I mean, probably, right?
Yeah. I kind of like it. It makes things, I don't know.
Well, see, Roddenberry had a complaint that he's like, oh, they're 2 different races, and they, you know, Romulans and Vulcans, and they wouldn't have a kid together. And I'm like, Romulans are offshoots of Vulcans, and Spock is half Vulcan, half human.
Right.
So again, this is, you have to imagine that the people making this stuff are like, what even are you talking about?
Sure. Just say you
Right?
don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, it really does feel like that. You're just looking for a thing to nitpick about.
Right.
I do think it's a shame that Kirstie Alley did not come back for certainly the next one, at least, because I think she brought something unique to it.
Yeah, I agree. She really, she stood out to me as an interesting character added to the mix.
Yeah. Now, this was the first time in my life I heard Amazing Grace.
Oh, really? With bagpipes.
I thought of it. Yeah,
it's kind of cemented maybe that way for you.
I always thought of it as Star Trek music. I didn't realize it was.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
It makes me realize how often I've heard it on bagpipes.
Sure.
Like that seems to be sort of a popular rendition of it. It's beautiful, and then added with the orchestra added to it, and
yeah, that was one of those things where, like, I think Horner had that idea of having Amazing Grace, or maybe it was even a Nick Meyer thing, and I think it took like seeing it executed to convince people that it worked.
Like, I can imagine. Cheesy? Yeah, exactly, and especially seeing Scotty playing bagpipes literally,
That's
and
right.
but it just kind of works.
So the glasses end up being this kind of weird runner throughout the next couple films. In the fourth one, when they go back in time to 1986, Kirk sells those glasses because they're like antiques to get some money.
Oh, funny.
When they're in the past.
I need, this, I got to go through and just keep going here. I got to.
Well, 2, 3, and 4 certainly make for kind of a de facto trilogy in the middle of these films.
Yeah.
Nick Meyer did not want to come back for the third one, not because he had an unpleasant experience on this, but because once he saw that they wanted to bring back Spock, he was adamant that they not bring back Spock.
Sure.
He was like, it's going to dishonor the sacrifice. It's going to be cheap, And so he's like, just as a matter of principle, he didn't want to come back. And then when it came time for the fourth one, he's like, well, I guess you've already brought him back. So
right. It's not on my hands.
Yeah. So he co-wrote the script
for
the fourth one. I believe all the stuff in 1986 is by Nick Meyer.
Oh, huh.
Leonard Nimoy directed 3 and 4.
Oh, okay. Is that how they got him back for 3?
I think so. I think that's what it came down to, where they're like, hey, how would you like to direct it?
Yeah.
And Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner, going back to the time of the original series, they had a favored nation contract. So in other words, they basically, since they were both the leads of the show, their agents figured out, okay, anything you get, the other guy gets.
Right.
If you get a Buick, you get a Buick too. And so Shatner was able to use the favored nation clause to direct the 5th movie.
Wow.
It's like, hey,
Yeah, sure. Great.
Per Shatner, that was something that Leonard Nimoy said to him. Like, well, I guess with that favored nation you can do it. But, I don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
I do know it's kind of sad. I was reading about how, like, they were close friends for, most of their Star Trek time, but I guess they had some kind of a falling out a few years before Leonard Nimoy died, and like that remained
that late
the case. Like that was never resolved.
Oh, that's sad.
Which just makes you sad, right?
Yeah.
Like William Shatner did not attend Leonard Nimoy's funeral.
Wow.
Not because he did not want to, but he said, I got the sense that I would not have been welcome there.
Wow, that's so sad.
It really is, right? Because we don't want to think of that being the case,
Mm-hmm. Now, did they secretly have plans, like this is how we're going to bring Spock back, or was that something that was sort of brought in late in the game, like this ending here?
So I definitely, the original version of this that they screened did not include the bit with where we see the torpedo on Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
And that, again, was something that Nicholas Meyer was not party to, was not in favor of. But they just got a crew together and they shot. I think that might even be in like the Bay Area, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He was not on board for that. But it was not something as clear-cut as we're definitely going to bring Spock back. It was, let's leave some threads out there that we can pick up on.
Sure.
But as you said, look at that. What a perfect way to end this movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we've been on a whole journey. Whether you've seen episode 1 of any original show, it doesn't matter. We've been on a journey with this character. And I should also mention, by the way, that the movie starts with Spock having given him A Tale of Two Cities, and it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, and then it ends with him reciting the very end of A Tale of Two Cities. And that was just sort of another one of these literary larks by Nicholas Meyer. Because he's like, A Tale of Two Cities is one of those books that everybody knows how it ends and how it starts.
Yeah. It's funny because I recognized what he was saying and I didn't know why. It's just one of those things that's in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it came time to do the third one, like I said, that was how they got Leonard Nimoy on board. Although even then the studio pushed back because they were like, oh, if this guy wanted out so bad and they had to kill him off, now you want to come and do the third one? And it's like, no, I just wanted a compelling story. And so the third one is very much it feels like if you start with the premise of, okay, this movie needs to end with Spock back, it's just sort of like backtracking to get there.
Right.
2, 3, and 4 are very different. I think that make for a very interesting trilogy in that sense. Because there's narrative threads that carry over, but tonally they're doing very different things.
Right.
The third one has more sort of caper elements. The fourth one is more overtly comedic. But you definitely feel like you've been on a journey by the end of it.
Yeah.
Having Leonard Nimoy here doing the narration, I would imagine if you're in the audience, you're practically expecting him to be back in the next one, right? Like, I don't.
Yeah. What do you think the thinking was with that, having him do it?
I mean, obviously on an emotional level, it allows for like, oh, this is the farewell of the character. But I feel like that, coupled with the shot of the torpedo, coupled with he's really not dead as long as we remember him, coupled with Kirk being like, if Genesis truly is life from death, then I must like it's not breadcrumbs, it's bread loaves.
Yeah, it would have been funny if he's like Stardate 8726. Just where the hell am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's back.
Yeah, and it's I said this on my commentary track with Glenn, I believe, that at one time Spock was almost like an albatross around Leonard Nimoy's neck. He wrote a biography where it was called I Am Not Spock.
Right.
And yet he grew to have such an affinity for the character, and the affiliation was so strong that not only did he embrace it, not only did he continue to carry that role on well into his old age. Literally, the final tweet that he ever posted says, "Live long and prosper."
Wow.
Like, that's just by chance the last tweet that he sent out into the world. He's saying something, and then it ends with him saying, "LLAP, live long and prosper." I think that watching this film now, 40 years later, we're at a point where the characters have been separated from the actors.
Yes.
Right. And that's certainly not something I would have thought could be possible, 20 years ago.
Right.
But to me, it kind of makes this experience more precious because we have 6 movies with these people as these characters. And the universe comes on and we do more with it. But this is a finite thing. And, you and I have talked before about the value in letting a story end. To some extent, the original series era of Star Trek reaches a definitive ending with the 6th film, the crew sail into the sunset and that's it. There's value in that.
Right. Yeah.
But what are your thoughts about this film? I mean, you saw it like 13 years ago.
I think it's one of those things where like I said, I never had anything actively against Star Trek. I just didn't have an interest in it. Like it was just never sort of in front of me in a way that, it was an attraction. And so when you sat me down to watch it, I was surprised that I think I don't know what I would put into words why people wouldn't think they would like Star Trek. Maybe they think it's more stodgy or something than Star Wars, which is more kinetic, or I don't know.
Right.
But I think people would be surprised to sit down and watch this and find themselves just like we said at the very, very beginning. I mean, it's just good writing. It's good characters. And I think that's irresistible no matter what the table setting is, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
So Star Trek, this, that, whatever, it's just good characters and good writing is just that. And so, this has become a movie thanks to you that I really enjoy, and I really enjoyed revisiting. So,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I would recommend it to non-Star Trek people. I think they would be surprised.
I truly feel that this is one of the best on ramps into this particular universe.
Yep.
Picking up a little bit on what you were saying. I mean, for me, Star Trek has obviously been something I've been fond of most of my life. This was the one. I saw it when I was 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
That turned the dial to, oh, I love this.
Yeah.
And I always think about that. I'm like, I was relatively young, and yet still, like, the emotional beats worked for me. The music did the trick for me. Like, all the pieces fit to the point where I'm like, this is a thing I'm going to be a fan of now.
Yeah.
In 1989, when the fifth one came out, that I got to see that in the theater with my brother. That's the only one of the original crew movies I got to see on its first release. And that's generally acknowledged as the worst one among these. But I'm like, I don't mind going on that trip because I like the characters.
Yeah.
And I think that's the ultimate measure of whether a universe works for you. Even now, I mean, there's all these different Star Trek shows, and I always say, I'm like, you don't have to like everyone. It's like, it's just different flavors of ice cream. Not everybody likes mint chocolate chip.
Right.
But it's a universe that has a singular appeal, certainly for me. It is aspirational, but a film like this is also just emotional.
Mm-hmm.
But that has been our journey through Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, for its 40th anniversary. I hope you all enjoyed listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the film. If you have any reactions to what we had to say, please let us know at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. And let us know what you want to hear future commentaries about. We mentioned Star Wars a few times. I should mention we have a track coming up soon for Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
To tie in with the release of Andor. That's one we've promised for a couple times now.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it.
But we're going to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, that's been a while.
So we'll be back soon, hopefully, with that one. But until then, on behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been our Star Trek II commentary. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We will catch you next time.
Space. The final frontier. These are the continuing voyages of the starship Enterprise. Her ongoing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life forms and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.